Hi, this is Simone with OwlCat Designs, and I'm going to show you how to go about grafting stitches together that are not just necessarily a stockinette background. So in this pattern we have knits and purls. We don't always have one knit and one purl. We have two knits, two purls, one knit, two purls. So I'm going to show you how to approach each stitch as you get to them. And then you should be able to graft anything pretty much seamlessly. When you graft something together, there's always going to be an offset of half a stitch. When you have a stockinette background, obviously you will not be able to tell at all because they're exactly the same stitches, but because you're working with two different fabrics where you have knit and purl stitches, it's going to be offset just slightly. There's just nothing that can be done about that. That's just the way it is, but it is still pretty invisible in the end. You can see it's a little bit off right here. That's that half stitch. Or right here, you can see it. When you're wearing it, nobody will be able to tell. Okay, so we're going to get started. We have our needles off the back of the vest on the back. The stitches of the back on the back needle, and the stitches of the front on the front needle here. And you're going to go through each stitch twice. One time when you're coming through it, the second time you're going to pull it off the needle. I'm sorry, I feel like my brain is not telling you the right thing in the right sequence here. Okay, so we already went through this stitch on our previous pass, and it is a purl stitch. So a purl stitch as your first stitch on the front needle. You're going to go into it as if to purl and pull it off the needle. This will also be in the pattern, but I just want to go over it in a little video here. Then you're going to need to go through that second stitch for the first time. This is a knit stitch. Since the knit stitch is on the front needle, you're going to purl, go into it as if to purl, and you're going to leave it on. So as if to purl would mean this way. You're going to leave it on your needle. Then you're going to go to the back needle. Okay, so here we have a purl stitch. Purl stitch on the back needle. It's the first stitch on there. You're going to go in as if to knit, and then you're going to pull it off. So you're going to go in as if to knit, which is this way. Make sure this yarn doesn't get stuck on the needle here. And then we're pulling that first stitch off. And then the second stitch is also a knit stitch. And that is the stitch you're going to go into it for the first time. So it's the second stitch on your back needle. And you're going to go into this one as if to knit and leave it on. Back to the front. Hang on, let's see here. So we have a knit stitch in the front. First stitch on the front needle, you're going to go into it as if to knit and pull it off. Next one is a knit stitch as well. You're going to go into this one as if to purl and leave it on. You may be familiar with the knit to purl conversion that you do on a stockinette background, but since we're going back and forth, we're going to go over a couple more. So you have a knit stitch on the back as well. You're going to go into it as if to purl and pull it off. The next one's a knit stitch as well. You're going to go into that one as if to knit and leave it on. All right, back to the more interesting parts of this. So here you still have a knit stitch in the front. First stitch on the front needle, you're going to go into it as if to knit, and then you have a purl stitch on the front needle, and you're going to go into that one as if to knit as well, but leave it on right here. Back to the back needle. Knit stitch on the back needle. You're going to go into it as if to purl and pull it off. The next one's a purl stitch. Purl stitch on the back needle. You're going to go into that one also as if to purl, but leave it on. Sorry, I hope it focuses again. Right on here is where it needs to focus. Here we go. Purl stitch on the front. You're going to go into the purl stitch on the front needle as if to purl, pull it off. Another purl stitch on the front needle, that's the second stitch in your row. You're going to go into this one as if to knit, but leave it on that needle. I wanted to come off. Guess it missed its friend. So here we go. Then you look at the back needle again. Back needle has a purl stitch. Purl stitch on the back needle means that you're going to go into it as if to knit. Pull it off. Second stitch is a purl, and you're going to go into that one as if to purl, but leave it on. going to show you what this looks like. So as you can see, it pretty much seamlessly, besides that little jog that you're just going to get because you're working with the bottom and the top of two different stitches in a way, it looks like you're having created one fabric versus there's a seam. And the reason I'm having you do this is because this particular vest is actually going to be reversible. So you don't want to have a seam on the back side of it because you might want to wear it this way as well. So the vest will come out this fall. This is 2017. And it's knit in a lovely, lovely yarn by Harrisville Design. Sadly, I think with the light that I have here, you may not be able to quite tell. So you'll have to go check the pattern page once it comes out and see what color I used for the original one. But this is a little tutorial, and in the pattern, there's going to be words describing the same thing. So hopefully this will help you a little bit to get the hang of it. You just kind of have to pay attention to it, but it's not really all that hard. You should be able to figure it out once you have the words and this tutorial and get your vest seam, your shoulder seam on your vest seamed up in a perfect way so that it looks seamless. Thank you for watching.